the other thing that I want to discuss is inheritance and derived components. So what does it mean to have inheritance, and what does it mean to derive a component? Inheritance is when one class builds upon another. If you have a situation where you create a script for a building that can take damage and die, but then you have a player castle that inherits from a building, it can build upon the original behavior that the building contained. Deriving the components is a fun trick in Unity where if you have a bullet that interacts with buildings, it will also be able to interact with all of the derived component classes as if they were the original class. Therefore, I could have a bullet that will interact with a building by, on a collision, make it take damage. However, I could also create player castle and opponent castle, both of which inherit from building, and I could make the bullet on a collision enter with a building send a take damage function to both a player castle or an opponent castle. The function will exist because it has inherited from building, and bullet does not need to know the difference between these two different types of castles. An additional benefit is you can override certain functions, so the take damage will call die. However, the building's original take damage will call the overridden player castle's version of die, meaning when the player castle dies, you can make a player lose condition trigger, but if the opponent's castle dies, you can make a player won condition trigger. This is very useful because when you're building the bullets, the only thing you need to be assured of is that a building is what it will be interacting with. From that point on, you can add any number of derivative components based off of buildings, and they will automatically interact properly with a bullet.